mute everyone just so we don't get any of that annoying feedback. You are welcome to come off of mute if you need to ask questions. This is just because, like I said, sometimes with webinars, if people have microphones on, unfortunately, you get that nice little feedback. Oh, yes, and Devin just pointed out there is a chat box, so you are more than welcome to use the chat box as well. So, as I said, my name is Corey Freed. I am the educational consultant for visual sound. Just a little background on my professional statuses and such. I am a Google for Education certified innovator. I am a Microsoft Innovative Educator expert, and I am also the Microsoft Fellow for Region 9 this year. Region 9 obviously includes Pennsylvania. I have my master's in instructional technology, and I am just one of those people that love continuing to learn. So after 10 years in the classroom, I switched over, and that's when I started working for visual sound this year. So today's webinar is on using Zoom for synchronous learning. And for those of you that don't know what synchronous learning is, this is when you are doing things in real time. So when you are using synchronous learning, you are going to be working with your students in real time. This is not something, well, we are recording this so you can watch it later, but this is not something that you normally do for future times. This is something you would do in real time with your students. So there are 4 different types of accounts on Zoom. The personal account, which is 100% free, has a 40-minute limit per meeting and up to 100 people. Now, because of the current crisis going on, Zoom has lifted that 40-minute limit for educational accounts. You cannot sign up with your Gmail or Microsoft account. You must log in with a school district account. But once one person in your school district has filled out the form to waive the 40 minutes, anyone else that creates an account with that domain will automatically have the upgrade. You then have personal accounts that you can purchase for pros and business. And then if your school wants to buy an account as a whole, you can get the EDU account, which is a little cheaper than the personal accounts. However, you do have to purchase for a minimum amount of people. When you switch up to the EDU account, it does have more compliances built in, so that way it's safer for your students and it does follow the laws. So zoom.us is the website. Now, the interesting part of it is if you go to zoom.com, it will automatically forward you to zoom.us. When you are there, the first time you try to start a meeting, it's going to ask you to download the application to your computer. You can download it, or you can click the option that says use it from the web. This is what the application will look like when you turn it on your computer. You can start a meeting directly. You can join another meeting, or you can schedule a meeting for the future. If you are to schedule the meeting for the future, then that is how you can create calendar events and share it out to your students using your LMS. So when you schedule a meeting, you're going to see a box that pops up similar to this. Just like if you were making a calendar event, you would put your date, your time, how long you want the meeting to last. And then here where it says meeting ID, personal meeting ID is going to be synced to your email address. So if you want your students to always come into the same place, give them that personal meeting ID. If you want it to just make a random one for today's meeting, generate it automatically. You can also put a password on the meeting. So if you were going to advertise the meeting on your social media accounts, but you only want members of your organization to actually come in, you can put a password, and that would require them to use that password in order to access the chat. Videos and audio, right now, they are limiting the audio on free accounts, so you can only use computer audio, not telephone. The reason for this is because due to the influx of people currently using telecasts and webinars, they are running very slow on their system. So they're trying to give their paying customers a little advantage over the non-paying customers. So this is a feature that is actually only available for paid accounts. I want you to be aware of it in case your school does have an account, but it is the type of thing that unfortunately the free accounts will not have access to, and that is webinars and raising hands. So if you have this active in your account, your students are able to click a button that says raise hand on their system, and you as the teacher would see that someone raised their hand. And if you pull up your list of participants, you'll see whose hands are currently raised. This is really good for participation, so that way everyone doesn't come off of mute automatically, and they are able to, come off of mute when you call on them rather than everyone coming off of mute at once. Because like we said, unfortunately, when everyone's microphones are on, it gets a little bit of feedback. And also, I'm sure you've seen the memes recently about all the crazy people who are doing things not realizing their microphones are unmuted. So it's better for everyone to stay muted unless you're specifically talking. Another trick for your students, when you need them to unmute, tell them to hold the spacebar down like a walkie-talkie. So if they hold the spacebar on their computer down, it will temporarily unmute them. And then as soon as they lift their hand off the spacebar, the mute button goes back on. So this is a nice way so that you don't have to forget to click twice with your mouse. And that muting issue does go for free accounts and paid accounts. That's not just for raising your hand. While we're on this screenshot, just to show you as well, when you're in webinar mode, you as the teacher can ask questions and answers and poll. Sorry, you can poll them with questions and answers. The question and answer here is your students can ask a question and you are able to come in and answer those questions for them. So breakout rooms is another really great thing for webinars because you might have your students doing small group projects, but you want to be able to access all of their groups while they're working. So you create these breakout rooms within the main room. And what would happen is your students would be either automatically or manually placed into the individual rooms, and they can't go between the rooms. You, however, as the teacher, have the ability to go between the different rooms because you're the one that created them. So if you have your groups, think of it like your physical classroom where you have students in the corner and you have students in the front and students maybe in the hallway. You can walk around to each group, but the groups themselves would be working independently of each other. So we're going to come out of the presentation right now, and we're going to go over to Zoom so that I can show you a few more issues or features on the website. So when you are on the Zoom website, the first thing you're going to do is log in. So right now I am logged in on a free account, and you'll see it says, as I mentioned, due to increased demand, dial-in phone audio conferencing is temporarily removed from the free basic accounts. This feature right here is, again, something that makes the audio better in the long run, but unfortunately, they're holding it off for their paid customers only to make sure that they're able to use it. So you have your profile, and this is where you get that personal meeting ID number. As I said, that number is for you, and it's all, anytime you start a room, you can use that same number. It links your email addresses and it tells you what kind of account you have. So as you can see, I'm on a basic account and my meeting capacity is 100. If I was to come over to the side and click meetings, this is where on the website I can schedule meetings. I would just click schedule and I would get the similar pop-up to what I showed you on the presentation. However, what happens is on the website, it's just a little differently formatted. The webinars, as you can see, are listed as premium, so you would have to upgrade your account to access those. And you also would have to have an upgraded account to record the calls. This is one of the reasons we're using Google Meet for these webinars today, because Google Meet has extended free recording for the next few months due to everything going on. So on the admin side, you have your room management. This is where you can create those breakout rooms. And your user management, so you can have multiple users that are connected to each other. Again, this is a premium feature, so you would have to sign up to access that. However, if your school has a school account, you would definitely have these features here listed as admin. So I'm going to open up the Zoom application now, so that way you can see the difference between the program and the website. And again, it's very similar features in the sense that you are able to do everything from the website. If you were to click join a meeting, it would ask you for the meeting ID. So as a teacher, you would obviously have your ID and you could give that to your students through your LMS or a website. They would type it in, click join, or if you sent them the calendar event, they can also click the calendar. So this right here is Zoom, and it's coming up on your screens in about 2 seconds. Sorry about that. There we go. So the Zoom application is like I showed you in that screenshot. It has the new meetings, join a meeting, schedule a meeting. It also has share your screen. You could share your computer sounds as well. So if you are going to be doing a PowerPoint and that PowerPoint has videos on it, you would want to click the option to share computer sounds. That way your students can watch the video in real time with you. I would highly recommend if you're going to add share computer sounds, make sure you have minimized your notifications because I can't tell you how annoying it is to hear the presenter's emails going ding, ding, the whole time you're talking. So you do have the contact list here. As I said, if you are in a school, obviously, you're going to have all your contacts. And my Zoom application is actually logged into a different account. So as you can see, this is my PAECT account, which is a premium account. So I do have more features on my application than when I was demonstrating the website a few moments ago. So on here, if I was to schedule an event, I am going to call this Demo Zoom, and we're going to schedule it for tomorrow at 10 a.m. I want it to last 1 minute. I was about to say 1 minute, 1 hour. And I click schedule. It's creating the event. And unfortunately, it just opened it up in the web browser to put it on the calendar, which I'm not currently sharing with you because I'm trying to share one window at a time. So that did not work the way I wanted. But what's happening is it's putting the event directly onto my Google Calendar. It says here on the side, no upcoming meetings today. But if I was to schedule it for today, now on the schedule, you'll see it says upcoming meeting today at 10 a.m. So when you log in, you can see right away if you have anything scheduled for the current day. If you go to the meetings column, here is where you can see all of your schedules. So here's today, here's tomorrow. You can also copy the invitation so that way you have a link to send to your students. So these are the type of things that you can do from the application that you can't do easily from the website. You also have a chat feature. So as you can see, there are some bots, but you can jump to your contacts. So if I needed to send a message through Zoom to a contact, I could go reach into them and send them a message. So does anyone have any questions? You could either come off of mute to ask them or you could type them. It's up to you. Okay. So one other feature that's really nice about Zoom is that you can present your screen. Now, if you're working on a PC or a Mac, one of the things that you can do, and I just saw a question pop up. I will answer that question in 1 second, just because I want to finish my thought. So one of the nice things you can do is if you have a touch screen, you could actually use whiteboarding features when you're presenting to your students. So if you have Google Drive, you would go to the new files. Am I sharing the right folder, the right browser right now? Can you see Google Drive? I hope. I can't see which one I'm sharing. I'm now sharing myself. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I could hear whoever's saying, can you hear me?
Devin.
Okay.
I don't think we were seeing the Google Drive.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was going back to it. I hit the wrong option. All right, there we go. Okay. So I just went back to Google Drive and now it's presenting.
Perfect. You're good.
All right, thank you, Devin.
Mhm.
And if you click new and then you click more, there is an option that says Google Jamboard. If you have not used Google Jamboard before, this is a whiteboard. So if you have a touch screen or you're really good at using your mouse, you can come into Jamboard and you can share your screen. And like, for example, here's your pen. And you could write on this whiteboard. So this way, if you're a math teacher and you're trying to demonstrate problems, if you want to do anything like that, you have a whiteboard directly on your screen. You can change the color, you can change the type of pen. So that's just an easy feature that you can access. So somebody in the chat box asked about adding the breakout rooms and is it in room management? So the breakout rooms are normally on the bottom of your Zoom room. And where you're going to find that is when you're actually in a Zoom chat. You're not going to be able to preset those up in advance. But when you go to the bottom of a Zoom, this will be the interesting part if I could actually host a meeting while in a meeting. That's the part I did not test. All right. So let me share this other screen with you again. If you're using the whiteboard as shared, do you have to use Jamboard? No. If you have a Windows 10 computer, there is a Microsoft whiteboard that's built in. If you have Smart Learning Suite, you can use Smart Notebook. Basically, you can share any window that has the whiteboarding capability. The reason I showed you Jamboard is because it's just the easiest to access and it's web-based. So anyone on any device can use Jamboard. Whereas if you're using Microsoft Whiteboard, you have to be on a Windows computer. And if you're using Smart Notebook, you have to be on either a Mac or a PC that has Smart Notebook installed. Okay, so let's go back here now. All right, so we are currently in a Zoom meeting. And to do those breakout rooms, they are going to be down here at the bottom. If you spread your thing out a little bit, you'd be able to see it. Now, because I don't have people in here, the option is not there. If I had multiple people in this chat, I would have the option for the breakout rooms. I did think when I opened this chat up to show you it, it would show up. I am going to be providing resources, so I will make sure there is a resource on creating the breakout rooms on the resource list with all the attendees. In fact, that reminds me, if you are currently in this chat and you would like to receive those resources, if you can go to the chat box of your Google Meet and just type your email address. That way we know who to send it to. Are there any other questions that I can answer while we're on the live webinar? Again, you could type them or you can come off mute. It is up to you. All right. So let me show you a few other things that I kind of demonstrated. And that would be, oops, oh, that was someone's email. I heard the ding from the chat. That was someone's email address, not a question. So if I go back to my Google Drive, I want to show you one other thing that is really handy if your students have any IEPs related to audio. And that is that, and this is both PowerPoint and Google. So I'm showing it to you in Google, but PowerPoint will do the same thing. If you come into the chat and click present, there is an option on the bottom that says closed captioning. If you notice when I click closed captioning, it moves my slide up a little bit and now captions are along the bottom. This is using the same technology as your voice to text when you're doing text messages on your phone. So it is listening to you speak live and it is going to put it into words for your students. Zoom also has a closed captioning feature built in, but you as the teacher can't turn it on for your students. So you would have to make sure your students know to look for it if they do need that accommodation. And again, PowerPoint has that as well. So whichever slides you're trying to share with your students, they'd be able to see it. One thing I will say, if you are going to be sharing your slides full screen, notice that right now you can see my entire browser, but when I went to present, it switched to the slide itself. The reason for this is because when you go full screen, it actually is taking up my entire screen as well. So you can't see your students or the chat or any of those type of things in Zoom. So if you want to be able to see them asking questions, or you want to be able to hear them, you could still hear them if they unmute and they talk. You can still hear them. But if you want to be able to see them typing questions or doing that hand raising, you're going to have to leave your presentation in this minimized version. It functions. You can still, obviously, your students can still see each slide, but they will see the editing functions on top, and they will see the slide deck on the side. So if you go full screen, you are going to lose the Zoom window and you won't be able to see. You also won't know if you accidentally mute yourself because you won't see that little red microphone on your screen. All right, somebody just asked, are things saved in a board like in Microsoft Teams? So when you're asking about Jamboard, then yes, it saves automatically like any other Google file. For the Microsoft Teams, I do love Microsoft Teams. Yes, files will save automatically because they're cloud-based. If you're using Microsoft Whiteboard on your Windows 10 device, it does save, but you would have to do file save as to get a shareable file for your students. Where is the closed captioning for students on Zoom? All right, so if you go back to Zoom, and I gotta just switch my screen again. Maybe I should have just done full screen instead of window since I keep switching back and forth. Live and learn. All right. So if I go back to Zoom and I create a meeting, and I got to share the meeting because I'm sharing the wrong. Here we go. And now you get to see my beautiful face because there's Zoom. So right down here on Zoom, you will see closed captioning. And I guess this time it actually does have the breakout rooms. That's weird that it didn't have that on the last one. But so closed captioning right here, using the third party, that's how it would do the automatic, or you can assign someone to type. So if you have one student that you want them to practice their audio skills, they can type the captions themselves, or you can go search for a third party device or a third party closed captioning service, and I will provide those in resources for you of a few of the ones that are available. So here are the breakout rooms. Like I said, you would set the number of rooms, create the rooms, and now you can assign the students to the individual rooms. You as the teacher can go into each room freely as here. So for students that are absent for a class, how do they access the video of a class or the breakout room? So the same way that right now I am recording for all of you, you can. So it is one of the premium features to record a Zoom call. There are workarounds for it. For example, if you were to use a screen capturing software, Smart Learning Suite's notebook does have screen capture, and it does capture audio as well. You also have some free softwares like Screencastify or Screenomatic that would do screencasting. So if you were to use one of those third-party recording softwares, it would record your web call, and then you can put that video unlisted on YouTube. You can put it into a Google Drive folder. There are multiple different options to share it out to your students. For those of you that still have questions after this webinar is over, I will be on the same exact Google call from 10 to 2 today answering questions. The topic that we have listed on our website is Smart Learning Suite. However, do not feel you can only ask Smart Learning Suite questions. Feel free to come in with any questions you have about technology. And now I see you guys are talking. I'm guessing you two are from the same school district. Because I see in the chat box it says we're going to record classes, so we should have it. Definitely reach out to Zoom and see if they're offering any discounts for the education due to everything going on. Like I said, the only one they've listed on their homepage is that they're extending the 40 minutes of the free chat or of the free meetings. I don't know if they are also extending the recording and the webinars and the hand raising and all of those features. So any final questions about Zoom today? Somebody just recommended a PowerSoft that's free and captures audio. So there is another screen recording software that you have access to. I love the collaboration. Thank you all for sharing ideas. It is wonderful. All right. Well, thank you all for coming to today's webinar. If you have any future questions, you can feel free to reach out. I am going to put my contact information back on the screen.
Also, we'll be on our social media. If you follow us, we will be having all the upcoming webinars and Ask Me Anything hours.
As Devin said, it's all listed on, it'll be on social media. It is also on our website. I will give you that link too, because I don't remember it off the top of my head. It's definitely visualsound.com, but then the back side of it. So I'm going to post it into the chat.
Yeah, I have it. Do you have it? Because I can post it.
It is posted. I for some reason, when I was trying to do it yesterday, I didn't do the training dash. I just did remote learning, which did not work. So that's why I wanted to copy and paste it this time.
No.
And that is also where we're going to be uploading the video of today's webinar.
Awesome. Thank you, Corey, for all this. Your presentations are beautiful.
Thank you all very much. I'm going to hit the stop recording because we're obviously done now. Like I said, I will be back